Rajdeep Sardesai joins us live. Rajdeep, two-phase election in Bihar. All political parties are saying that this is what they wanted. They do not want a prolonged election. So two-phase election, how do you look at these two phases? But interestingly, it will be happening after Diwali and also after Chhath.
Look, the first good news, in a sense, Maria, in those election schedule is that Bihar has changed. We often think कि बिहार नहीं बदला है, लेकिन इस मामले में तो कम से कम बदला है कि in the 1990s elections in Bihar would be 4, 5, 6 phases because there was the fear of political violence. It was the age of the muscle man in Bihar, the dabangai which we saw in Bihar, particularly in the late 80s and then in the early 90s. Now there seems to be a greater confidence that you can hold a two-phase election in Bihar, which is the good news that this election brings. A shortened election campaign in terms of the fact that by the time Diwali and Chhath is over, you've got just about 10 days to the first phase would suggest that whoever is to win Bihar has to build the momentum starting now. There will be very little time left post Chhath for you to influence voters. And as we've seen over the years, there are increasingly very few floating voters. Most voters often make up their mind, especially in a state like Bihar, where politics has been so polarized for so long. So I'm not sure who gets a real advantage out of that. The NDA clearly is organizationally and resource-wise far superior to its rivals. But the RJD has shown resilience in the past. Right. They were the single largest party 5 years ago. And you would never want to write them off because they do have a core vote. Right. I heard you a short while ago talking about the Congress. I think the big problem is, does the Congress have any core vote left at all in Bihar? All the other parts, the BJP has consistently scored between 19 and 24% Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha. The Nitish Kumar has consistently scored around 15% average. RJD has been in the 20 to 24% range. Therefore, the Male has a core vote bank. The Congress becomes the Kamzor Kadi. Right. And therefore, how does the Mahagadbandhan go from 36, 37% to 40, 42% right. is the real Rajdeep, challenge for them.
Multiple questions. Will the Congress still fight 70 seats yes, or will the Congress settle at a seat number which is going to be about 50? Because out of 70, it only won 19. Lots of questions there. Possibly Rahul Gandhi hoping his Vote Adhikar Yatra has been able to get some amount of traction for him as a leader and acceptability for his party, which even Amitabh Tiwari touched on, where the EBC vote is concerned or the Dalit or a faction of the Dalit vote is concerned. The Congress aside, Rajdeep, let me ask you a quick question where Bihar is concerned. Many consider it a swing state with its complex political shifts. History stands testimony that electoral results in Bihar have always, near always, only but surprised. It also signals a wider, broader political trend where acceptability, across India is concerned, or at least the Hindi heartland comes into question. Let me ask you, Rajdeep, on the X factors. While there are multiple X factors, like Mahila, like Prashant Kishore, if you want to make it personality driven, if there are 5 people who are testing themselves in this battleground, the X factors in terms of personality, Rajdeep, and you have to put your word in on them. From Prashant Kishore to Tejaswi, you have Rahul Gandhi, you have Nitish Kumar, and you have Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the country. How would you rate right now how they are being perceived in Bihar, or what are they looking at?
I think there are two personalities who are really key to an election in Bihar. One is Nitish Kumar. I mean, it's quite remarkable that someone has ruled a North Indian state or has been Chief Minister of a North Indian state for almost 2 decades and switched sides so often. It almost suggests that for any government to be formed in Bihar, Nitish is indispensable. I mean, that's quite a phenomenon. You're not the number 1 party. You're not even number 2. You're number 3 party, but no one can form a government without you. Now, the question is, therefore, how much of an asset does Nitish Kumar remain or how much of a liability? Does 20 years of anti-incumbency hurt him, or the connect that he has built, especially with women voters, benefit whichever alliance he goes with and the EBC vote that comes along with? So, Nitish Kumar is one key X factor. The other X factor is, to some extent, Rahul Gandhi, because, look, Rahul Gandhi could claim that in Uttar Pradesh, in the Lok Sabha elections, he seemed to upset all calculations. But Bihar is very different. If you look at the Congress's performance, they've never got more than even 20% of the seats that they've contested. Last time they contested 70, they won 19. Had they won even 30 seats, less than half of what they contested, the Mahagadbandhan would have been in power. So the Congress has shown no signs over the last 25, 30 years in any election in Bihar of actually pulling up. So can Rahul Gandhi actually revive the Congress in a state where he talks of the caste census and in a state where the caste census was actually initiated by Nitish's government when he was in alliance with the Congress and the RJD? The third X factor is Prashant Kishore. Now, when you have a leader who's contesting his first election, it's very difficult to gauge his true popularity. Prashant Kishore is a very good talker. He's very media savvy. He's worked very hard on the ground. But is that enough to translate into votes? Are we seeing a post-Mandal polity where there will be those who are willing to vote for a Prashant Kishore because they want newness in Bihar and move away from traditionally frozen caste alliances? That is the X factor which I think could well decide the nature of the government form. If Prashant Kishore starts getting more than 10%, I think then Bihar's election becomes fiercely contested. And where does he take his votes from is also going to be key depending on the kind of candidates he puts up. So that makes Bihar interesting. There's always one X factor in a Bihar election that we tend to underestimate. Could Prashant Kishore be that X factor in 2025?